I was very happy for COVID. Everybody else hated masks. I loved it. I got to hide.
There are many reasons why people turn to dental implants. But what about the cost and the uncertainty of the process?
She pulls a denture out of the drawer, takes an X-Acto knife, cuts the top of it off, and she says, we're gonna drill holes in this and we're gonna put it in there and you're gonna wear it for about 8 or 9 months. And I was like, this does not sound like a great deal for me.
That's why Nuvia hosted a special panel in Las Vegas where real patients revealed what led them to this decision, how they moved past the sticker shock, and whether they have any regrets.
Dentist told me, you'll never be a normal person. We don't know how to fix you.
No matter what, we are committed to providing a better life through our service, right? And this is so cool to have these great folks come up. Like, what a unique opportunity that we get to hear from them and also answer some questions from us, right? And get their perspective. We get to talk about theirs, which is the most important perspective. I wanted to kick things off by just a quick, if you could just introduce your name and the city and state that you're from really quick, just so we can get an idea of where we're all coming in from.
I'm Trisha Downham from Phoenix, Arizona.
I'm Christopher Palacios from San Francisco, California.
I'm Butch Jardif from Gustavus, Alaska.
What's up, Nuvia Nation? I'm Ricky Cox. I'm from Weatherford, Texas.
And so I wanted to ask you guys, what events really took place, or timing really, did it hit you like, it's time for me to talk to somebody about getting my teeth done?
Well, I had a series of events over many years, and I always kept putting it off because I thought, these babies will last me till I'm 80 and then I'll be okay, nobody will care. Which probably I was lying to myself. So I went to seven different places and just never pulled the trigger. And I was at a conference and I was going to speak, and I'm up here like this, and everybody's looking up here. And I'm eating the worst steak of my life, you know, the kind that they boil and then they serve you. And I can't chew it. And I'm like, this is going to be embarrassing because everybody's got an iPhone. They're going to videotape me, put it on the freaking internet, and I'm spitting the steak out or I'm choking and on the floor. Nobody wants that. So I got home and I said, hey, it's time. I go back to the place I'd been to 3 times, and and I'm going to sign the paperwork. We've got it drawn up, and they're doing all this stuff and show me the price. And I said, okay. While I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my phone, and a Nuvia thing pops up. Never heard of Nuvia. I was like, well, this is pretty slick. The blue color, I was in the infantry, so the blue color really, I was like, this is pretty slick, very classy and stuff. So I'm looking at it, and they're sliding this thing, and I'm already nervous. And I said, let me ask you a question. I said, what are you going to put in my mouth before everything happens? She pulls a denture out of the drawer, takes an X-Acto knife, cuts the top of it off, and she says, we're going to drill holes in this and we're going to put it in there and you're going to wear it for about 8 or 9 months. And I was like, oh, and I said, well, how many people do this? She goes, I'm the only person and you're going to be awake. And I was like, this does not sound like a great deal for me. So my brain kept thinking about the thing I just saw on my phone. And I said, you know what, let me go home and show this to my wife, and I'll call you back. I walked out in the parking lot, it's pouring down rain. And as y'all can guess, I drive a pickup truck. So I call, and I got to go to Keller, Texas. There's a lot more traffic in Keller, Texas than there is where I'm at. So they said, can you be here by noon? I'm on my way. I'm headed over there. And I get there and I'm nervous and I'm thinking to myself, should I go in? I walk in, the people knew my name, which is important because the sweetest thing a person hears is their name. I go in the back and they do all these fancy things to me, and They said, I go and I meet a guy, and my doctors were there, and I got to meet them, and Dr. Mohan and Dr. Haroon, and Richard was there. He was the consultant guy, and they said, if you want to, you can probably save your teeth, which means not using Nuvia. Right then and there, I realized they didn't care about the money. They cared about me. And in the big scheme of things, when you're talking value perceived and everything, nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And right then and there, I realized they cared about me. And now I wear the Nuvia blue very proudly. So, and I'm proud to be associated with everybody out here in this audience.
Thank you. All right, Butch.
Well, I had moved to Gustavus, Alaska, pretty rural place. It's a little community of about 300. The only way there is by plane or boat. So you can imagine there's no dentist, we have one grocery store, one gas station, one liquor store. That's it.
The necessities.
The necessities. So when I moved there, before I had moved there, I had 3 stents installed. I came real close to having a heart attack. And my teeth were pretty rotten. I had really bad teeth, and I was developing gum disease and everything. And while in Gustavus, I saw an ad for Nuvia, and I said, well, you know what? I really need to get this done. You know, it's something that has to be done because it's affecting my health. Next thing I know, I've got Casey and Chris coming up to visit me in Alaska to take me back down to the Salt Lake City office and do all my x-rays and everything. And that's when I met the group at Salt Lake City, and I just found another family, you know, and I knew this is what I wanted to do. And so I made it happen.
Awesome. All right, and Christopher, even though being from California, he's actually traveled to Salt Lake City as well. Go ahead, Christopher.
Well, my journey started about 17 years ago when I was having difficulty with teeth that had been worked on in the military. And I went to a dentist. He suggested veneers. So I let him grind all my pretty good teeth down and give me veneers. It lasted about 2 years. One by one, they started falling out. And then next thing you know, the integrity of the other teeth, the tooth would fall out. So I tried to find the dentist. He disappeared, could not be found. And that whole thing cost me about $22,000 for that whole process. So I started going to dentists and just doing what they told, doing piecework. We'll do this. We're going to save this bridge, and doing what I was told. And fast forward, I go to another dentist. I'm going to do the implants. So I found a dentist in Northern California, well-known dentist, said he could help me, but it would cost about $75,000. But I had to do all these steps, and it would take about 1.5 years to do. And that really wasn't going to work for me. So I did what I could with that. Fast forward to the pandemic. I've had temporary bridges and all this stuff going on. Finally, the dentist said we have to just pull your top teeth and give you
Dentures.
And so during the pandemic, I got all my teeth pulled, and that was the worst experience of my life. I mean, they pulled out 18 teeth, and truly the worst thing I've ever endured in my entire life. So I remember about 4 weeks go by, and I'm dealing with it, thinking I can live with this. And all of a sudden, the swelling had gone down, the dentures fell in the sink, and I could see my gums and everything, what had happened, how deformed they were. And I literally had a nervous breakdown. I just couldn't function. I kind of curled up and stayed in bed, lost 55 pounds. I honestly could not do anything. So finally got it together. Got online, started looking at places. Nothing really seemed legit to me. Got some quotes, a lot of hidden costs. No one would be upfront with what it would cost to do. And then again, I'm like, because I guess I was Googling, maybe it came up, and I was like, I'm gonna give them a call. Kaysen, who I reached, luckily changed my life. I mean, it was just the first time I'm 63 years old, and I have had been dealing with dentists my entire life. And this is the first time from beginning to end that I felt like somebody really cared. It literally changed my life. And listening to you all out here today, talking about what your goals are and your aspirations and what your plans are, you guys have achieved that because you've changed my life.
Awesome.
I actually went and did not tell anybody I was doing this. I had so many issues for the last 45 plus years. I would eat a soft piece of bread, break a tooth. I could wake up, I would have fillings falling out. So I suffered my entire life. I was called a jigsaw puzzle. Dentist told me, you'll never be a normal person. We don't know how to fix you. I went to multiple different dentists and they said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I was very happy for COVID. Everybody else hated masks. I loved it. I got to hide. So I went to various locations in Phoenix. Nothing felt right. And like everybody else, I didn't know about Nuvia. You guys were brand new, had no clue. I made the phone call. I got to go in. That was the hardest step of my entire world, is to pull on the big girl pants and go for that consultation. I did the scan, what have you. They took me back. Basically, they're like, okay, you're a candidate. This is what you're going to look like. I got the virtual pictures. 10 minutes later, Trish, you're not a candidate. What? Here goes the tears. Here goes more tears. And when you guys were talking about medical issues, everything that you guys said, Trish, check. Trish, check. Trish, double check. Crap. They were scared of my BMI. They came back and said, Trish, you have to lose 50 pounds. We're not going to do your surgery. I'm like, guys, you guys don't understand the medical stuff that I'm going through. And losing weight does not come easy. All I can say is Nuvia saved my life. That day, I was, like I said, didn't know if this was going to happen. 5 weeks later, I found out I had cancer. I had cancer the day I did my consultation. If you guys would have gone straight to surgery, I may not be here. So I never told the office I had cancer. I found out beginning of June I had cancer. 1 week later, I had my first cancer surgery. They came back a week later. Trish, I'm sorry, we didn't get it. We found tumors. Okay. They said, let's go back, let's do more scans. We did more scans. Came back. It's very likely you're not going to be here in the next 3 months. I had surgery number 2 and 3, September of 2022. 2 weeks after that, I got a call from the doctor. You never like getting the calls from the surgeons and the doctors. Trish, we need to talk. Well, that's what happened in June. And you told me I had tumors. I don't want to talk to you guys right now. They're like, no, we need to talk to you. Okay. So I went into my office, shut the door. Within 24 hours, I called the Phoenix office. I called them. They're like, what are you doing? They're like, can I come see you guys this week? Why do you want to come see us? Do you have time for me, please? Long story short, I ended up losing over 50 pounds. And the reason for that is because I was scared of dying. And so I changed my diet to eat for cancer. I have a 19-year-old daughter who is scared to lose her mom. So I changed the way I ate to live for my family. So now that I was cancer-free and I took my BMI way down, my A1C was over 12, took it under 7 in 6 months. So I had 3 cancer surgeries between June and September. Less than 30 days after my 2 cancer surgeries, I had Nuvia surgery. My parents freaked out going, how can you go through 3 major surgeries in 30 days? I go, you raised somebody who is very stubborn and is going to go for what she needs to do to be happy. 1 year after my consultation, I just put out there to everybody on the Smile Maker page, don't give up. I was told no. I was told no by all these doctors. I was told, no, you're never going to be a normal person. You're going to be a puzzle piece for the rest of your life. You're going to die because of cancer. And here I am almost 2 years later. So you guys have changed my life in the last 18 months. Thank you.
All right, you guys, so we have a couple more questions, but I'm going to save those to wrap up. I wanted to just open up the questions to our team members here and have you guys kind of fire away that the panel can answer.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when we told you the cost?
I'll take that one. I ended up realizing what it was going to cost to piecemeal me back. So when you all of a sudden get told X amount of dollars, 24 hours, we can fix you, I was happy. Yes, it is a sticker shock, but if you add up everything little by little, you find out you end up putting more money out doing it 1 crown at a time, 1 implant at a time. Make yourself happy and embrace it.
I agree with that. If you piecemeal it together, you do what I do. I spent $22,000 the first time around. I'm investing into it, and it really doesn't make any sense to do that any longer because you're putting a fire out, and then the next fire comes, and you lose the integrity of your teeth. And it's not just cosmetic; it's emotional. It's your intimacy. Everything's included with losing your smile.
Right.
You know, the trauma that you're involved in, people don't get it. My family were like, how can you invest that kind of money? And I told my dad, I go, you just spent that much on a car. And you're a leased car, you're going to return. So where's your return in your investment? I have a return in my investment for the rest of my life. So it's perspective. But everyone gets there at a different time. You have to get to that point. That's not what you want to do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
On the money part, like I said, I went to 6 or 7 different places, one place 3 or 4 times. They're not far off. Some are way higher, some are a little bit less, but Nuvia offered quality,
Yeah.
and that was the difference.
I want to lean into Butch and Christopher a little bit. You both have like unique stories of kind of like why you traveled, but I would like to hear, why you decided to actually travel to a Nuvia center to have it done and then the process associated with it compared to, especially you, Christopher, being in California, I mean, having local spots, right? I mean, even though that first appointment didn't go great, there's other multiple clinics there, right? Like what was it that really had you decide, hey, I'm gonna get on a plane and go to Salt Lake City?
Well, there was other choices, and I researched them. I went so far as to go to one that was close. Like I said, this is a 15 to 18-year process of me trying to find somebody to fix my teeth. So I was really prepared. And once I decided I was going to invest in myself, I wanted to decide where I wanted to go. So I turned it into a vacation. I wanted to go to Utah. I wanted to enjoy the parks. I wanted to spend some time and just, and it made me less nervous, to just put it in perspective. I've never experienced anything like I did from the beginning with Kason, and then I think Adriana, the receptionist, everyone, they just kept calling me and letting me know what was going on. And I've never had that experience when it came to my dental. So I really just embraced the traveling part. I had a friend that just had gotten back from Mexico, had the worst experience. She's like, I only paid $25,000 for my teeth. I go, but you paid cash. And she's like, yeah, right. I go, you've been there 5 times since. So, multiply that, your trip and your stay, and nowhere near the quality of work that you guys do. So it wasn't even close. So that was a big factor in it. And like I said, I researched, and other companies couldn't guarantee that there was another hidden cost, whether it was bone marrow transplant, whether it was a sinus lift, and you were upfront from the very beginning with the quote, what I was paying, what I financed, all that kind of stuff. There were no surprises. I had had enough surprises by that point.
Yeah.
And I just believed in what you had to say, and your message was right on point.
Butch, you want to touch on anything?
Well, I had no choice. I lived in a community where there was no dentist,
Yeah.
and the nearest dentist would have been Juneau. And Juneau is known in Alaska as the most expensive city to live in. So there was no option there of using Juneau. And like I said I got hold of Case and had learned about Nuvia, and hearing that you could do teeth in 24 hours, that just amazed me. And I was like, that's where I'm going.
Could I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
After you decided to do it, did you have any buyer's remorse? And if you did, what helped you overcome that?
Mine would have been, why didn't I do this years ago? Why couldn't I have done this years ago? No, there was no buyer's remorse because it was helping me health-wise, because people do not realize the infections that can come through your mouth and go straight to your heart. And I have a heart condition. And that's something that scared me because heart attacks, I've lost grandparents, and that was the one thing that the dentist kept on saying, these infections are going to go to your heart. It's going to go to your blood system. We don't know what's going to also happen. So that's something that I took into consideration, that yes, it is money, but I'm still young. I still need to be here for my friends and family.
For me, the buyer's remorse was something I thought about before I invested in my teeth, or the possibility of it. But then I did the math. My car's paid off, so that money I'm not spending on a car payment every month. I'm just reinvesting it in something that's going to pay me back in the end. So I have no remorse at all. And at this point, I'd probably pay double, knowing what the results would be, having had them done. I'm perfectly healthy, and I love having my teeth. So
Yeah, great. Butch, at the time you met virtually, was there any like, hey, I put a deposit down to go to Utah?
Money really wasn't an option for me. Mine was more my health. Health, confidence, and just being able to smile again, because I hadn't smiled in years. I had such rotten teeth. I was very self-confident about it, and just, I was ready to do it and wanted to do it, and I had no remorse over doing it. I'm happy I did it. Really am.
Okay.
Like I said, I'd do it again for twice the price.
Yeah, no remorse at all. The big thing was, I went to a place and they were a skosh cheaper, but they wanted me to be awake the whole time. Well, y'all are gonna knock me out, and y'all had like 10 people working on me. Freaking, why wouldn't I go with y'all and have no remorse? And so I don't remember nothing. And I'm one of those people, like, you're gonna spend the money on something, and if you spend it on something, you're gonna figure out a way to make more to keep living however you need to live. You just got to have faith and believe that it's all going to come back to you if you have that faith. And I had to have that faith, and I had to have that faith in y'all. So I thank y'all for that.
Guys, we're going to wrap up with that. Let's give a big round of applause to our panel here.